Hello. Welcome back to another wonderful episode on the Experience Transformation podcast. So I came across a video this week about dog training. So maybe some people own pets and know this, or know it conceptually, even if they don't own a pet. But in the video, the dude was teaching how to bring a dog home and how to be a pet owner. And it was so interesting. He was saying the second you bring the dog home, you have to start training immediately and teach it who is the boss and where its safety is going to come from. And he doesn't get into all the details of how to do it because it's a short video, but he's saying that right away you have to start toilet training it, which would mean immediately you're very on time and disciplined about it. Every hour you take the dog out and give it an opportunity to use the bathroom and reward it when it does. And that teaches it to do it outside. You may never even have one bathroom accident inside the house, and that's very important because once they do it one time, then they start to smell their own urine and think that it's okay to do it in the house. So you have to be very on top of it right away. And another thing was that there's no free ride. The dog has to know that food doesn't come automatically. When it listens and it is following the owner's words, it gets food. Otherwise, it doesn't get food. Everything, you want the toy, it has to listen to the owner. So you would tell the dog, okay, sit. You'd put the food down. You'd say, wait, stay in your place. Don't touch the food, even though the dog's impulse is to jump at the food. No, you can't have the food yet. Now you could have it. And then the dog can go and eat the food. Same thing when you're walking outside. Just because the door opened and the dog's impulse is to run outside and start running around. Sit down. I will walk out first. Tell you to wait till I'm ready for you to come out. And after some time, the dog learns these disciplines and starts to trust its owner, that whenever the owner tells it to eat, he could eat. Whenever the dog owner tells it he could play with his toy, same process. Don't touch the toy till I tell you. And that builds a lot of trust, and the dog knows that all its needs are going to be met from the owner. If you're walking in the street and the dog is nervous about someone, it will first look at the owner and see how he feels. If he feels safe, the dog will know that it's safe. If the owner doesn't look safe, then the dog will feel like, okay, this isn't safe, and he'll know based on the signals that the owner will give him because he has so much trust in him. And this is the way you build a good relationship with your pet, and it becomes a well-behaved pet, etc., etc., etc. And of course, the nimshal was super obvious to myself and all my impulses. Sometimes I see food, I want to eat it right away. Sometimes I have other desires, kosher, non-kosher, and immediately there's an impulse. And I have to teach my animal that's inside me that, wait, sit. I will provide it for you when I'm ready, when it's the right time, If you're in the middle of, if I'm in the middle of working, I'm trying to build a listing, let's say, or something that isn't so fun for me necessarily, immediately I feel impulses to open YouTube. Always. Like constantly. And after watching this video, I was like, hey, I see you. Wait. Sit. When I'm ready, I'll give it to you. And then after I finish what I'm doing, I'll reward myself and say, okay, now you can have a few minutes. And this way, my impulses start to look at me and say, is it time? And then I get to choose and say, no, it isn't time. And we start to have a relationship where the impulses or the animal instincts, or whatever you want to call it, first look to me, like the real me, for permission. And I in return promise it that when I'm ready, I will give it to them in the proper way, so that they know that they will get it and they can keep coming back to me, and I'll provide to them for whatever it needs at the time. So I found that to be really powerful. And what I realized also was that for the most part, even repeating this thought to other people, I would always say, yeah, if you have, you have a sexual urge comes on, and you want to immediately, no, sit. I will provide it to you, or take care of you when it's needed. And then it would be also like, if I feel like I want to get angry, I will let you get angry in the right container at the right time. Now is not the time. Sit, wait, we'll get back to it. And then I make a container for these impulses to come up. And just energetically, it doesn't mean I have to go around and rage or go and then do things that are illegal or anything just because I'm having this urge, because there's a way to just release it energetically through my breath, through dance, whatever it is. Not getting into all of that, just the idea of that, all these little parts of me, these little animals, the whole zoo that's going on inside of me is looking at the zookeeper and saying, are you going to provide for us? And if I make space for all of it for all of it, and create containers and safe places for every animal to get what it needs, then they learn to trust me. And when I say sit, they will sit without any fuss. And that's really awesome. And it's a great relationship to have with basically yourself. But what I noticed was that I only focused on negative thinking. Like, if you have a negative idea, it comes in. Like, I'm starting to think about myself as a really bad person. And like, okay, so we'll create a container and create a space for that to happen. If I feel like I'm just really angry and really upset at my spouse and my thoughts are just going wild about how bad they are, like, okay, not right now, but I will create a space for you to just allow all your thoughts to be. Allow these thoughts to come and go. Always about negative things. And for myself, I think for the longest time, whenever anything positive comes in, like, you're actually a great person. You're doing great work. You're a nice guy. You're God-fearing. Whatever comes in, immediately I have another voice that says, no, go out, because this is these voices saying I'm good are taking me away from a certain pain. They're trying to distract me from some discomfort, and I have to go to the discomfort and release it. And I never make a container or a safe space for something positive to come up, for some self-good talk. Like why don't I allow that voice, also that little animal, if we can call it so, to also share what it wants to say? And like for the first time this week, I don't know if it's the first time, but it was very noticeable. I'm like, you know what? Come in, tell me. It's like, Mendy, you're good. You are a good guy. You don't have so many issues. You're really doing your best. Yada, yada. And I can feel this relaxation take over me. And it was so nice. And I'm like, wow, why don't I listen to you more? Just because you're a protector? You're trying to protect me from some pain? Well, great. I could use some more of those, That's a good protector. Just like I listen to all other protection. That's like, if you say you're a good guy, maybe you're going to avoid some type of hard emotion that you need to deal with. It's always concerned that if I'm too good, I'm somehow going to fall off the wagon and get hurt. But like, okay, I hear you, but I can also hear this other protector that's saying, you're really good. You're a good guy. And I thought it's very important to also create space and create a container, create a safe place for the good parts. So, quote unquote, the good parts of you to come up and speak praises to yourself or to you. They deserve a voice too. And maybe they deserve even more of a voice because what they accomplished seems to be really positive. Like my body relaxed. I felt good. I felt happy. I felt happy with everything around me. It was like a certain peace. And I decided I would definitely create at least once a day a time for these beautiful voices to come up and say all their good things and highlight the good that I have, because I have a lot of good. I definitely do, and so do you. So don't forget, just like we create safe spaces and containers for all our shit to flow to the top, we also have to make space and containers for all our yumminess and delicious stuff to also flow to the top and reveal themselves. And then they will know that when you say, hey, Not now. Right now I'm going through some pain. I can't hear you. They will say, okay, I will sit quietly because I know that at some point you're going to allow me to speak. On another note, if we don't have this relationship with our parts, with ourselves, with our animals, then the animal stops trusting the owner. Let's go back to the dog. When it sees like, the owner doesn't come back and give it its food, or the owner doesn't take it out for a walk, or the owner doesn't take it to the bathroom, guess what? He'll just start making all over the place. Anytime he sees any food, he'll just become a wild animal that will jump for it. It can become violent and dangerous because if there's no one taking care of it, then it has to take care of itself, and all sorts of undesired behaviors start to take place. And the same as in a person. If we don't provide spaces and time and care and self-love and love for all these little animals and parts inside of ourselves, then they will have to start fending for themselves, and we all know that doesn't look very pretty. And then we see all sorts of behaviors and issues and undesired stuff come our way, and we don't want that. So let's be proactive, take life into our own hands, become our own best friend, and hopefully that will lead to a place of more freedom and redemption and love and happiness. L'chaim. Good Shabbos.